Welcome back to my channel, you guys. It's me. It really is. I know my hair is different. It's a moment, but it's me, CMZ News, Candace, here to give a recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion episode 1. I'm up to 30 subscribers. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for everyone who's subscribed, shared this channel, like it, and also comment down below. I love hearing feedback and comments, and I've actually had some people who are my subscribers but friends in real life kind of send me things and ask me things that they kind of want me to get like a little deeper into, so I will do that. Now, again, I did miss last week's episode. We had a couple of things happen. One of the reasons that it was hard for me to recap was just I was super busy, but I also was really I was really upset. Like a couple of things that just happened that just really just honestly bothered me. Rinna, and just the way, she's everything that's been going on with Kathy and everything. And then just like with the stuff with Garcelle, and just even how Garcelle was spoken to last week's episode by Rinna, saying she had an attitude and things like that. It was just the microaggressions of it all. So I just needed to take a break. And then this weekend, I was like, I'll get to it this weekend because I actually had some time. I'm in California and it rained. So I was like at home and it was really great. Well, I got my hair done the day it rained. But I just kind of like relaxed. But I was living through everybody who was at BravoCon. And I don't think of myself as an influencer. I'm absolutely not an influencer. I don't think of myself as a content creator. I'm just literally someone who likes the show, and a lot of people just watch it, but I don't just watch it. I watch it. I'm on their Twitters. I'm on the Bravo pages. I know the backstory. I'm on Reddit. I know what's really going on behind the scenes, I feel like. So I created this channel for that. And seeing all these people who actually started just like me, creating like random Bravo fan accounts and stuff, and that they were at BravoCon, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got 30 subscribers. My goal is to get to 50, but like that would be so awesome if one day I was able to be at something like that. That would be like my Olympics or something, just to be able to be there with all the Bravo celebrities and the Bravoverse. So putting it out there, I don't know, maybe next year. Let's just get into the Real Housewives reunion episode. I will probably combine certain things that happened from the season finale. This is also, again, it's the reunion. The ladies are wearing like cocktail attire. Beverly Hills doesn't have a theme, unlike some of the other franchises when they do reunions. So, they don't have a theme with the way the ladies of Beverly Hills dress. And like, I remember when the picture came out of how they were dressed, a lot of people didn't really like what they were wearing, but I honestly think everyone sitting down looks really nice. I'm still working through my hair, you guys. I'm not used to having my hair this long, like in a long time. The other braids are long, but I can throw them up and I can do different things. But what I wanted to say is I feel like I was like, oh, I'm gonna dress up a little bit for this recap. And this is like my Kyle inspired shirt, because Kyle's always wearing like these good like business casual tops. So that's what this is. So with that, I've got my spooky season cup. And let me go. I hate when people just keep talking, and 5 minutes in and I haven't started. All right. The scene opens up with all the ladies getting ready. They are at the theme. Well, the set theme is Beverly Hills Hotel, which is very fitting because they are obviously in the Beverly Hills. This is a 3-part reunion. Rinna, they showing like the scenes of the ladies getting ready, them kind of walking on the set. Andy's having his first like looks or greetings with them while they enter the set, and Rinna comes in with 3 vanilla envelopes, which I can only assume are her receipts. Kyle has gotten a breast reduction, so she tells the ladies that, and Andy's asking Garcelle like if she's dating, if she's gotten on Raya yet, which I think is like some upscale dating site for like verified actual celebrities to be on there. And I don't know who else is on there, but maybe they're all millionaires or something. I don't know. But Andy admits that he's on there. So Garcelle's like, well, I'm going to get on too. And then we the show immediately starts with touching on the charities. The ladies had many charity events this season. And of course, homeless, not toothless was like the big one. So that was we get into that whole mix up in the montage of everybody laughing about that. We also get to see Kyle's charity with Jamie Lee Curtis. And when they come back, Andy was like, you know, one of these magazines wrote an article how it was like the funniest 8 minutes on TV. And it honestly was so freaking funny. Like the name of the charity, the Homeless Not Toothless. And he asked the ladies if they all know the name now, and they said yes, and they all say it at the same time. So they go back to talking about Kyle's charity event with Jamie Lee Curtis, and he's calling Dorit out about how she was just like, everything was so chic and everything. And he's like, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis is here, and they're like, oh my God, really? And he goes, no, I'm just kidding. And then he goes, surprise, she actually really is here. So Jamie Lee Curtis was there. She came and she looked so beautiful in a green suit. I've always loved her. And she comes out and she says that basically being on that show, she had no idea the magnitude that this show had, you know, that it really reached so many people and so many different people, and that she had the biggest day in her charity profit-wise, maybe donations, I'm assuming is what she meant, by appearing on that show. So she says she's like renamed the wind chimes, the Dorits chic wind chimes, and she had in preparation for the Halloween movie that she and Kyle are in, and it's been 45 years since the original one apparently, she bought out like little pumpkins, and it had each lady's faces carved into it, and she had it sent back to their dressing room. It was super cute, and she was just really nice and humble, and like thanked like the cameramen and stuff. So it was a really nice scene. Then we get right into Andy and asking about Garcelle's the cyber attacks with Jax. Now they're going to talk about this later when Diana comes out, but Andy gets right to it, and he's like, you know, Garcelle, you know, this was horrific. Like, tell me a little about this. Now, timeline wise, Garcelle had a rough couple of weeks. She had Jax just attacked online. It was a cyber attack for her 14-year-old son online a week or so before the reunion. Also, her son Oliver had his shit bared for all the cheating and everything that he's been doing. So it had been, as a mom, it had been a rough week. You know, no matter how old or young your kids are, your kids publicly being in something like this hurt. And then especially with Jax being 14, she said, you know, again, he had just started his first day of high school when this happened. And she said that someone even sent her nude Playboy pictures to him. Nobody wants to see their mom posing like that, okay? And if you do, you're not seeing it at 14, okay? Nobody wants to see that. And I can't imagine that. Like, that was just awful. On top of the racist of, you know, disgusting comments that they were saying. And, you know, she was just saying that it really affected him, and it was very hard. Rena was one of the first to defend him, and she says, you know, it was disgusting. Social media has been brutal. They've all had, like, you know, death threats, and the ladies all chime in like, oh yeah, it's been awful, and we're seeing all the comments, and that's just never okay. Like, it's never okay. So Andy was like, you know, there were lots of bots, like, and it was proved, like, these were bots. These weren't real people. And he asked her, you know, do you think someone on this cast was behind it? And Garcelle admits that she thinks that maybe someone purchased the bots, that she wasn't telling them, hey, go say racist things, but just probably said, you know what, go and harass Garcelle about, like, you know, Garcelle's a fan favorite. We're looking like crap. Go ahead, harass her. And she said, you know, that she felt that there had been, it seemed to be a pattern of attacking her children on the show. And she realizes that she's not wanted on the show. And I was really watching to see, like, what the ladies' faces. Kyle kind of gave like a, like, no, that's not true, you know, kind of look. Everybody was just pretty mute. And she was like, you know, I've also, that she's launched an investigation. And I really hope that we do get to the bottom of who was responsible for attacking her kids. I will say that there's another player in this. I think, you know, we have obviously the people on the show, but I think even bigger, remember, Nicki Minaj also came after her. Nicki Minaj said some really nasty things, and also mentioned and threw in race. She made the comment, no wonder that white man left you. So I don't know if she would do something like that. I don't see why she would, but it was so random that she even like centered on Garcelle for talking about her situation with um her husband and how they had the woman that accused Nicki Minaj's husband of stuff on her on the reel. So there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I would say if you have more than one person who you could think of that might do something like this, is pretty scary. Garcelle looked broken too. Like it was just, and I literally, like, I just had a pain in my heart even thinking about just like her face, and it was really sad. So um, Andy gives a PSA about, like, love the cast. This is in the love to hate them in the spirit of entertainment, but to go this far, create bots and attack their children is gross. Like, I literally never go on any of these people's pages and say anything nasty about them. I never tweet anything nasty about them. If I talk about the show, I am only commenting on fan accounts. If I say something on my own personal Twitter or here, if I say their name, I'll like put a little like asterisk or something, because I don't want them to like, I mean, I'm nobody, but honestly, these Bravo people, they block regular people all the time. They block you for saying comments. They block you for speaking the truth. They block you. Of course, if you say something nasty, they're gonna block you. So I don't do that. This is my outlet. I'm gonna say, you're gonna search for me if you think I'm saying something nasty about you. You're gonna search for it. So people are sick. So it could be a fan too, or a so-called fan. Then we revisit. So like I said, Andy says his thing, and we go and we get a montage of Dorits' robbery, and we get a montage of her dealing with that. And it had been quite a while since she really talked about it. Every now and then it kind of comes up again, but she admits that it has affected many areas of her life. She specifically says that it's caused issues in her marriage, and that she's grieving the life that she used to have. Now, when I mentioned earlier about BravoCon, today there was a clip that came out from Andy's legacy ball or whatever that he did, where Erica Jane was asked, like, which Bravo celebrity do you think is next for a separation? And she was like, oh, I don't want to say because I don't want to be hurtful, but PK and Dorit. So she literally said that she thinks PK and Dorit are up for separation next. Some of us were calling BS on that, saying, no, this is fake. Because then Dorit comes out and says, misery loves company, made a tweet about that. And then PK comes out with a statement. And if you know any, like, they've been friends this whole time. Bloggers who were at BravoCon were like, Dorit and Erica were talking the whole time. There didn't appear to be any tension for all of a sudden Erica to throw her under the bus and say she thinks that PK and her are going to have problems. So some people were saying, you know what, this is a plot. Like, they're trying to secure their next season, and now they'll be the feud, and this will be like their little getting together and pretending to have a storyline where they're fighting with each other. I've also heard that Erica is a little annoyed that Dorit, all of her and PK's legal issues are not out there. Dorit has had many legal issues. PK's had many money issues. He supposedly owes all these people money and stuff. They keep all of that quiet. They don't talk about any of that. So Erica's not the only person who has lawsuits against her. And so I've heard that she wants the producers to start pushing, put Dorit stuff out there. So I don't know if they really have tension. But again, so Dorit, so I'm thinking, maybe Dorit dropped that gem, that gem to maybe for next season, due to her diagnosed PTSD, which she said she has from the robbery, that could be something that we will see next season. I don't know. So Andy also asked her, Andy brought up that many people thought that the robbery was fake, that this was done for insurance money, because again, PK owes people money. The ladies all jump in saying how disgusting that is. They were quiet when Garcelle was talking, but they jump in. Dorit defends herself, and it's like, it's disgusting, Andy. I would never, my children were, I would, she's, I believe her. Listen, I believe her. Okay. I believe her. I believe her for now. I believe her. Andy asked her, have you replaced anything? And Dorit was like, well, I would never do repeat purchase. So that was kind of funny. She said she wasn't worried about it at first, but there's probably items and things that she would want new or what have you. So Kyle drops a bomb that the folks that robbed her have actually reached out to her sister-in-law and stated that they had her stuff. She said they were actually sending pictures. It was actually her mom's things. And I guess they sent money and they were like, oh, we're scared you're going to call the police. And then you've got Erica chiming in like, why would you do that? They're criminals. That's a shakeup. Like, why would you give them anything? And I'm like, this isn't they kind of talk about a couple legal things, and Erica really pipes up like when it comes to crime and stuff during this reunion. But they didn't really, I would actually like to hear a little bit more about that. Like, well, what happened? Like, did you get your stuff? Like, Kyle was saying she didn't care about the police. Like, she just wants her stuff. So she was willing to pay them to get her own stuff back. So if you remember, her mom gave her a lot of things. It was very nostalgic, the stuff that she had. So now we're moving on to Crystal. Okay, so we get a montage of basically all the times that Crystal's been offended. Okay, in her words, her vulnerability has been met with a lot of judgment. So they start with her struggles with her ED and why it was important to share. And she was saying, culturally speaking, she holds a lot of things close to her vest and she doesn't really share, but she felt that sharing her story, that maybe it could help somebody. She just thought it was the right time to talk. And a viewer wrote in a question who suffers from binging and things and asked if when Sutton walked in on her, was she doing some of her, ED, I don't know what the right word is, rituals or things, binging, purging, things like that. Was she doing that? And she said no, but her body dysmorphia definitely played a role in why she was so upset that Sutton walked in. So Kyle was also called out in her hypocrisy. They were like, Kyle, why is it okay for you to relate to Crystal for having this disorder, but when Sutton tried to relate to Diana about her miscarriage, you jumped on her, roughed her up, basically slapped her around and told her it didn't happen. And Kyle basically straight up was like, look, I was drunk and I was wrong. Okay. They also got on Erica and was like, you basically were giving really bad advice about what you would do and saying like, oh, if I had this disorder, I would do it this way. And Erica was like, look, I thought I was empathizing. I was wrong. I was wrong. They talked about it later. And also the chicken tender comment. She was like, look, I was wrong. So Erica didn't drag it on. She was like, I was wrong. And then I guess Dorit also brought up sharing with the group that she had been, throwing up. And Crystal was like, that was not okay. Like I said that to you in private. Okay, I'm not trying to make fun of her, but she started crying and she was like, it felt gossipy. And Dorit was like, what? And she was like, Crystal, like you had talked to the ladies about it. You had opened up about it. You had already had this conversation about it. So I just kind of was sharing what I knew. I didn't know that one piece was like private. You had already told them what you were going through. And so she's like, well, just so you know, like in the future, our conversation is private and that was private and you shouldn't share that. So she's like, okay. So, sometimes you might think as a friend that you're talking to another friend who is mutually invested in what this friend is going through, and you might overshare or you might say something that you shouldn't have said and you didn't mean it maliciously, but you have to realize sometimes when people are sharing personal things with you, it's not for you to share, even if the other party is concerned. So that's what I kind of took from that. And Dorit just was like, okay, I'm sorry, sorry guys. Again, I'm working through figuring out this air. And then we revisit the dark comments that Sutton made, didn't make, kind of made, didn't really make, thought she made, was in the universe made, was a vibe she made. I'm going to tell you right now, I had to stop and pause, rewind, because I was very confused with this. I'm still confused with it. Everything I'm going to say is not even in order, like as far as chronologically how it was brought up, because it was very bizarre. I have a friend who cannot stand Crystal, and he is like sending me TikToks about like breaking down how like Crystal gaslights the situations. And I'm like, honestly, I am so much more angry at other people in this cast that Crystal and her word vomit or not being able to like freaking express herself is really the least of my worries on this show right now. But I was like, okay, I'm going to get into it and really think about it. So essentially, we get a montage of Crystal talking about the dark comments, and then Garcelle, saying like, hey, I feel like anything Sutton was going to say, you were going to jump on her. And Crystal's like, well, before that conversation. it was really dark. It got so dark. It was, and it was really dark what was said. And so they're like, once again, you didn't specify what was said. And then you doubled down about it on Watch What Happens Live. And Crystal's like, well, it was the tone. It wasn't a specific thing. Like, didn't you guys get that it was the tone? And they're like, no. And so literally all the ladies actually jumped to Sutton's defense. Like Erica, Renna, they're like, no, you made it sound like she said something racist. And Kyle, the same thing. They're like, you made it sound like it was racist, not the tone. You made it sound like she said something dark, and you won't say what that dark thing is. And Garcelle's like, I asked you too, like, yo, you need to let me know. Like, I am friends with her. I need to know if I need to reevaluate and have a conversation, talk, what do I need to do? Because you're telling me that my white friend said something really racially insensitive, dark, not even insensitive, said something dark, said something horrible. Like, and then Crystal, is backtracking it and is like, she can't really say what's said. And then Renna is actually like, well, you can't put something out there like that and not say it. And I'm like, Renna, you ain't said what Kathy said either. Okay. And we know there's reasons why she can, and things are being edited out, but like, shut up, because you haven't said what Kathy said either. Okay. You wouldn't even tell them that Kathy supposedly said that everyone's an idiot and stuff. So like, stay out of this conversation, because you haven't said it either. And so, and Andy's like, look, Andy's even annoyed. He's like, I even asked you to Watch What Happened Live. If it was, this comment about, Sutton saying that her white daughter was in the jacuzzi, and here's my white child with a black girl and a Chinese girl and a redheaded Irish Catholic girl, and this is what it should be. And Andy was like, you said it was much worse than that. So Kyle's like, look, you were lying, okay? You weren't telling the truth. And La Quinta, and she goes, that was my experience, Crystal's like, this is my truth. This is what I experienced. You're calling my experience a lie. And so Garcelle jumps in. She's like, no one is saying your experience is a lie. You said something dark. Something dark said isn't a feeling. Garcelle's like, again, you had me question my friendship, And Kyle's like, I think you just wanted us to believe she said something racist. Andy was like, did you find the comments that Sutton made about her daughter and her kids and everybody swimming in the pool racist? And she said, I found it offensive. Erica's like, what's offensive about that? And she's like, it was very offensive. And that's how I feel. If you can't understand that it was offensive, then that's your problem. That's okay, And so this is kind of what my problem is. If I had to make a problem with Crystal, okay, I feel like she uses these like buzzwords that are very popular now. Like if you question anything, or if you question anyone, oh, you're, let's see, like you're misogynist, or you're, it's your truth, or it's your, where is it? I can't even remember all the words. It's like, hold on. It's not a safe space. It's her experience. She's violated. She's all these things. She just throws out these words, and it kind of like stops the conversation, because when someone is like using these buzzwords, then you're just kind of like, okay, and she's like, well, this is my truth. Well, this was my experience. This was my, how can you fight that? So I feel like she's definitely threw these daggers out at poor Sutton, or maybe I won't say poor Sutton. She threw these daggers out, and she's not expressing herself. What did you find offensive about Sutton saying my daughter was in the pool with a mixed crowd? Did you feel it again? It was the equivalent of maybe her saying, I'm not racist, I've got black friends. That I understand, because that we had that conversation last year when Dorits was at the table talking about, my mom's best friend is black. Everyone in my life is black. You mean your kid's nanny and the tutors and all those people are black, Dorits? So comments like that, I get you could express that like, hey, this feels a little something. I felt that when you made the comment like, my daughter has friends that are not white, so I'm not racist, or I don't see color. This is how it made me feel. She didn't express that. So it was just kind of annoying. And then we get into her saying that it was one of the biggest regrets in her life. And actually the women, let me back up. Crystal said she did find it offensive. Y'all don't have to. Andy asked Sutton how she feels. Sutton is like, I understand, Crystal. I've learned a lot of stuff. I've said things that maybe I shouldn't have said, and I can appreciate this, okay? She says, I've said things, I'm learning. And she goes, we're moving forward, and this group needs to accept that. Then you've got frickin' Frack over there, and Erica, like, why is this okay? Why is this okay now? Why is this okay? Crystal's like, why can't you two just let us be? Now, I get Crystal on that. Why do they have to be fighting? Why is it okay for them to say sorry and apologize, but Sutton and Crystal, Sutton can never apologize and it ends at that. Sutton has got to continue to be dragged. It's okay with her, you guys, because she is her friend. Just the same way they quickly forgave each other in Aspen for fighting with each other. And Dorit broke down the doors to get to Kyle's house when Kyle told production and them she didn't want Dorit there. That's why it's okay. It's okay to forgive people and to move forward. You don't have to, I get it's the reunion and we're going to talk about it, but they don't have to be fighting about that still. Why is it not okay for Sutton to be forgiving? They're so full of hate that they want Sutton to continue to be dragged about something that Crystal and her have decided to move on from, because to be honest with you, Crystal made it up. Because none was dark was said, possibly. Just like Kathy Hilton didn't say anything dark, right? No. But that's why. So that was annoying. Then Crystal says, listen, she never wanted to bring it up on camera. It's the biggest regret, not just on the show, but in her life. And Reynolds like, okay, in your life, this is your biggest regret. But this is something that really can ruin people. You cannot say these nasty things about people, okay? Especially if it's not true or you don't have the proof or you can't even say what they said. Just don't even say it, okay? Then Andy brings up Kyle calling Crystal a dramatic millennial. And, again, that Crystal uses words like violated, not a safe space, my truth. And Crystal's like, well, why do you have to harp on one word? All you do is harp on words. And that is true. They harp on something. And Kyle's like, well, there was no story. You're making it up. And they just kind of get into, well, actually, they get into this in a minute. But then we talk real quickly about, Andy's like, well, so as a millennial, are you saying, you can't, because you're a millennial, they don't know you can't request to play Michael Jackson due to, obviously, Michael Jackson's multiple allegations of, assault and different things. So Crystal's like, yeah, due to that. And here, Erica chimes up again and is like, he beat the case. What are you talking about? He beat the case. And I was like, okay, Erica defending Michael over here. Erica's not having nobody falsely accused if she feels that, because she obviously is going through that herself. So, oh God, here's where it gets really crazy. Andy asked Crystal about her and these 14 friends, which is so specific, that she fell out with, that we found out that Crystal fell out with 14 friends. 14 friends? How do you have 14 friends? That's a lot of friends. And so Crystal's like, I actually got great advice from Renna. The women who suddenly stopped talking to me when I, did this show. And Kyle's like, well, these women were actually asked to be on the show. And she goes, yeah, I know. But once I got on the show and they stopped talking to me. So Kyle starts playing semantics with her as far as I'm concerned. She's like, well, wait a minute. I thought you said before you got on the show, they stopped talking to you. And she's like, when I got the show, Crystal, it's like when I got the show, they stopped talking to me. So they have this stupid big back and forth. Kyle, she meant that when she was getting on the show or got offered the show, the women were upset because they were also probably going to do the show or wanted to do the show. They didn't get the show. Crystal got the show. She's on the show. So they're mad that she's on the show. They stopped talking to her because she's on the damn show. Okay? It's not that hard to understand. But what I think the underlining story, which Teddy was talking about this weekend, Teddy the Nat was talking about this, that basically Crystal was telling this group of wealthy women who were maybe being auditioned or rumored to be on the show or wanted to be on the show that she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do the show. Crystal talks. No, I'll never do it. I wouldn't do that show. That's kind of how I picture Crystal saying it. No. Yeah, really? Me and Rhobh? No way. And then guess what? Crystal does the show. So the women felt backstabbed by her, is what the story I'm understanding. Whatever. She actually pulled a super good housewives move, got on the show. It happens. I think we'll get a little bit more about that the next episode. Crystal had a couple of good moments where she was like, what don't you understand? Coming for Kyle. But I think the girl, she has had some good moments of really being able to speak her truth. But she gets tripped up, and I don't know if she just gets nervous, but she's going to have to get it together if she wants to stay on here. So Then we finally get to Diana. Diana is virtual because she apparently has COVID, and Andy, he calls her out for the cease and desist that she's been sending to a lot of the really popular blog accounts who've been talking about her and clearing up her reputation that was exposed, that she was, allegedly a Hollywood madam. And so Diana was sending cease and desist for something like that, because that's an awful thing to say about somebody. And, Andy calls her out for that, as well as asking her if she knew Jeffrey Epstein. She's like, I did not know him, and gives some story about why she couldn't possibly know him. And then she says, we talk about her lip licking. And she goes, I'm so sorry that I did that. It was so disgusting. I'm sorry, but it's a nervous habit. It's a nervous tick. Okay. So then we get to Philly Diva, who I follow on Instagram, who was at BravoCon, who actually did get to ask Dory and Kyle directly, do I look like I came from the black web? Oh no, I'm a content creator. I am Philly Diva. And Diana knew what she was saying to me, and they played stupid. It's online. Go look at it. So we get to the Philly Diva. Diana says she was mortified, that she thought she was associating the content with something dark, meaning, a satire account, a dark comedy of that nature. Okay. Dark meaning not positive, not the color, of her skin. When Crystal found out that she had said that, Crystal called her and was like, what the hell's going on? And she said that Diana was yelling like, oh, can you believe that there's people who are set out here to just troll us and to be mean? And she was like, I understood in that moment that Diana didn't really know. Diana was like, I 100% was an English barrier type of situation. I could maybe understand. No, you know what? I can't, because I get it. Dark content. If you like, at that time, Philly Diva was really, really new. She only had a handful of followers. I mean, she didn't have a lot of followers. I don't even know how Diana found her or whatever. And I think Adam or something, who's just another YouTuber, he like posted her or something, and Philly Diva and him are friends or something. So, when you go to her page and you see she's a black woman, and then you say it must suck to be a black content creator, like that, you shouldn't have said that. Like now you're just ignorant, like you could say it must suck to really wish you were a real journalist, but you're doing gossip or something, like, but to say because she should have figured out a different word. Okay. So there's that. I don't even want to give Diana any more credit at all, because she said a couple other comments that were very, I'm not racist, I've got black friends, especially with the whole I give all the money to Haiti, and all that and stuff, and always about how much she gives and her money, which leads us to Diana giving the money to the Lion Air victims, which was one of the lawsuits that Tom Girardi won for the survivors, families of the victims of that airline that crashed. And Diana, this is one of the cases that Erica is on the hook for. She gave money to the Lion, I think $100,000. And Erica says she was actually okay with that. I wonder though, what do you guys think? If Sutton had gave that money, do you think Erica would have been okay with that? If Sutton had gave that $100,000, would Erica Girardi been okay? I don't think so. I think it'd be a problem. I think Brenna would be like, why did you do it? What was your intent? It'd be this big thing. So we get to the bots. And Andy's like, Diana, people think you are behind the bots. And one of the reasons people think Diana's behind the bots is because all the bots were saying, leave Diana alone. Diana's cool. We love Diana. Stop it. Tell your mom to leave Diana alone. It was all about Diana. They didn't pick anybody else. They didn't even say nothing. I think they did a couple of Erica's, but it was clearly all about Diana. And Garcelle admits, she goes, if I have to tell the truth, yes, I admit. Diana says, wow, you obviously have a low opinion of me if you think I could be behind a 14-year-old boy. And Garcelle's like, yeah, I do. I was like, I heard that, Garcelle. Garcelle also drops a bomb that Diana sent her a threatening text. So Diana talks about, or Garcelle mentions that, the day everything went down, the text that really rocked Jax was the, if it wasn't for your white daddy, you would have already had a knee on your neck, or something to that extreme, which really, really rocked Jax. Okay, awful to say that. And furthermore, being half white wouldn't stop something like that, you know. Garcelle says that Diana sent her a threatening text when Jax tweeted that, because it said, if it wasn't for your daddy, you'd have a knee on your neck, leave Diana alone. So she's like basically saying that he needed to block out her name, retweet it, block out her name. Okay. And Garcelle's like, my son posted this because he was fearful. And she's all, Diana thinks that we should have taken her names out of it to protect her family. Kyle backs her up, starts saying, no, I think, you know, because Kyle can never stay out of it and always has to jump in. No, I think what she's saying is that, you know, he could have like deleted it, reposted it, like blocked out Diana's name. And Kyle's like, yes, Diana's like, yeah, pencil, just like pencil it out. Garcelle turned the fuck up. She was like, hold on. So you want me in the middle of trying to protect my child who has just gotten this disgusting ass text to block out a name to protect you, to protect all of you? And then Rena is like quiet, you know. Kyle is like, no, me? No, I'm saying, and Garcelle was activated. She was like, Garcelle didn't curse. She was so clear. Like, she was so upset. It made me, so I can barely talk. I'm so upset about it. Let me drink some water. She was so mad. I cannot believe Kyle or Diana, that their safety and not even their safety, that her name and everything, you know, this is Diana's name, but whatever. This is happening to a 14-year-old child. And you really think in the midst of their crisis, he's being attacked, that she needs to go and protect your ass? Bitch, fuck you. For reals. Like, I was so upset and disgusted at Kyle. This is who Kyle is. She wants to sit there and, oh, I'm so appalled. But you want to go and explain. No, you should have been telling Diana, that was gross of you in that moment to send that text to Garcelle. That was gross of you. You should have got immediately online and said, I had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to Jax. This is horrible. This is disgusting. Leave my name out of this. I do not support this. I don't support any fan who thinks this is okay. Like, Diana should have went off. Instead, she's sending a threatening text. If anything happens to my family, you will be legally responsible, and no Bravo contract will stop me. You're sending threats to me right now? Diana says, we got death threats in my country. You don't understand. Death threats is real. Well, you know what, Diana, in our country, there's a target on children who look like Garcelle's son. Okay? So that is a very real thing. Somebody telling her that her son could have a knee on his neck. Like, this woman, Garcelle handled herself with such beauty, poise, and grace. She is a fucking queen. She really is. Because I get really upset and my voice cracks, and I'm not scared, but I don't get mad often, but when I get really, really mad, it's like I get this rush of like just fire, and I'm just like, I'm just so, like, I'm trembling. Like, I am trembling. That's how mad I am. And I'm like shaking. And it's, again, I'm not scared, but I'm like maybe scared what I'm going to do, because I am so upset. And so for Garcelle to sit there and poise, she turned up though. She turned it on when she came at Kyle real quick and shut Diana up and told them, I got to protect you. I was like, I felt it. I felt so hurt for her. I also felt just like, the fact that all the women were quiet, they were just silent. They were so silent, but they can peep up and pep up when they're talking about Diana and, her death threats and everything. But you're quiet as hell when it comes to Garcelle yelling at you guys. I don't know if they felt shame in that moment, because Rena did look like Like, no, you don't have to. You don't have to say nothing when you're trying to defend your kid. I wish she would have verbalized that though. Erica says, "You don't have to defend me. You don't have to defend me." You know, because Erica could take it on the chin. You know, Diana weaponized, I feel like, what she experienced with her brother in her country. That it is life. You know, that I had a murder in my family. Someone really got murdered. Stop. Okay, we feel for that. That was awful that happened to your brother. Okay, but stop it. She weaponized it. She did it so that Garcelle was just like, you know what, I'm done. I don't even want to talk to her anymore. And Andy was like, you know, what would you say, or what do you want to say? And she goes, why is she so obsessed with me? Garcelle says that, and Dinah goes, because you're gorgeous. Garcelle goes, she's targeting me online. She's talking about me multiple times a day, harassing me. She goes, I don't tweet or harass or say anything nasty about any of these women online. She goes, if I could say anything to her, it would be, please leave me alone. I don't hate you, Diana. I just want to be left alone. And it's just silence. And Diana is kind of like shaking her head. I actually saw at BravoCon over the weekend, people asked, even Andy asked her about Diana, a couple interviewers. Garcelle says, I don't want to talk about her. I'm not talking about her. She's not talking about Diana. And I think that's good. Don't give Diana any more life. Don't give this situation any more fuel. Diana's a dangerous person as far as I'm concerned. You know, there's rumors that you are connected to Epstein, that you're a madam. You want to talk like you're this big bad, you know, gangster, you know, from Bosnia. I don't know what you're capable of, Diana. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep my name out of your mouth, or keep your name out of my mouth, because you know what, you're a thug, and I don't feel safe with you. You possibly hired bots. I don't want to talk about you anymore. And I felt Garcelle on that, and I don't think she needs to say anything else. She said it to her at the reunion. I don't think Diana will be back. I don't think we have to worry about it. Diana was not at BravoCon. She wasn't at anything. I think it's over. She was the biggest flop. The ladies can love her privately because she's so rich, and they want they can kiss her ass, Brenna and Erica, and look up to her, but she's done on the show, and we won't have to see her again. She's sick, and we don't need anybody like that. So yeah, this is why I'm like so upset. I don't even know if I said everything the way I really wanted to say it. It was really upsetting looking at Garcelle's face, just looking so defeated. Like, this is a show, you guys, but like literally in her real life, her children are being attacked. And this isn't just online troll. She posts a picture of her kids. Oh, your kids are ugly, or, oh, why do you no, literally they are sending nasty, threatening, harassing, attacking her kids. I cannot even imagine how scary that would feel. Okay, so this is just the first episode. We get another one tomorrow, or Wednesday rather, and I am looking forward to it. As upsetting as it is, I'm looking forward to it. We still haven't gotten to Kathy. We still haven't even talked about Jax's birthday party. So there's other things to navigate and to unpack here. But I think so far so good, as far as the reunion goes. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go calm down. I'm going to finish my juice here. And yeah, we're going to make it through. Again, I'm going to try to do Potomac. I'm going to try to do Potomac, because I really love that franchise and I just want to support it for sure. So, and I appreciate you if you're tuning in and for supporting me. So please, once again, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And until next time, thank you.